to Orlando, Florida. I'm Claire Crouch along with Keith Farmer. Eli Gain will be joining us in just a few moments. This is LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl. You've been waiting for it. We are here live at the Point Orlando, right in the middle of it all along International Drive here in Orlando. Just a few feet away is where that huge pep rally happened earlier with all those Kentucky fans. This is the place to be tonight as we count down to tomorrow's New Year's Day Bowl, where number 14 Kentucky is pitted against number 12 Penn State.
You know, this is one of the longest running tradition-rich bowl games still out there in the United States. Kentucky glad to be here taking on Penn State. This is the 10th straight year that this bowl has had ranked opponents taking on each other, 30 of the past 31, so really important for the Wildcats going up against Penn State in it this year.
A big game, and this is what people have been waiting for. All the fans here in Orlando are ready to get to game day.
Well, I guess the main thing is to talk sports, right?
Yes.
Talk football. And
Take it away, man.
For that, we're going to bring in Eli Gain to help us out a little bit. Yeah, look what we found here in Point Orlando.
Yeah, we're all good to go.
What a season it's been for Kentucky.
You know what? It's my first year covering this team, and I got to say I'm pretty lucky. It has been very fun, not only for me, but for all of Big Blue Nation. Big moments this year that helped them get to this point, 9-3, and to do that, what? Should we just show everyone how they got there?
How it happened.
Yeah, let's just show them. Here's a look back at how they got to this point here this weekend.
Kentucky opened the season at home against Central Michigan. The memorable moment was the hurdle Benny Snell Jr. made and staying on his feet for the touchdown. He and A.J. Rose rushed for 100 yards each on the way to a 15-point win. The Wildcats' first road and SEC game was at Florida. Terry Wilson had a coming-out party, giving UK the lead with a 24-yard touchdown run and 54-yard pass to Lynn Bowden for the Cats' first win over Florida in 32 years, 27-16.
Kentucky returned home against Murray State. The Wildcats put the game away within the first 3 quarters, giving the reserves some valuable playing time on their way to a 48-10 win. Then they were back on the national stage against Mississippi State. This was the game that really put them on the map. Benny Snell rushing for 4 touchdowns as the Wildcats easily take down the Bulldogs 28-7, and that vaulted them into the top 25 for the first time in 11 years.
UK created 4 turnovers against South Carolina to roll to a 24-10 victory and the first 5-0 start since the 2007 season. Kentucky would take its undefeated mark after that on the road to Texas A&M, where a late fumble recovery by Darius West for a touchdown forced overtime against the Aggies. But Kentucky would lose its first game of the season, 20-14.
The Cats returned home and had to grind out a win against Vanderbilt. Benny Snell put the team on his back in the 4th quarter, and the defense came through in the closing minutes for a 14-7 Wildcats win. Then it was off to Columbia, where the offense was non-existent until the final drive. Then one of the most memorable plays in UK history, Terry Wilson hit C.J. Conrad for the game-winning touchdown as time expired. 15-14 UK.
Then the low point of the season for Kentucky started with the Cats falling behind quickly to Georgia, and they were unable to make a comeback, falling 34-17. After that, to Tennessee, where Kentucky expected to get another win over the rival Vols, only to be held to 7 points, while the Volunteers had over 400 yards of total offense, 24-7 UT.
Then history was made the following week on Senior Day against Middle Tennessee. Josh Allen becoming the program's all-time sack leader. Kentucky gets back in the win column before their regular season finale against Louisville, and it was no contest there. The Cats hanging 56 on their in-state rival to win the Governor's Cup. They wrap up their regular season 9-3 and earn the New Year's Day bowl game, where they have a chance at 10 wins for the 3rd time in program history.
It's extremely important to us, obviously, competing against Penn State, the history that they have, the storied program, that's very important to us and motivating for us. Playing Penn State and competing against Penn State, playing on New Year's Day, getting a 10th victory, it's very important. It hasn't happened very many times in the history of our program, so to get 10, hit that milestone is another motivating factor.
Yeah, I can imagine if they do get that 10th win, just to think, you know, out of all the years they've played, only two other times that they've done that.
Yeah.
Fantastic year.
I mean, it's been an incredible year because we've seen them make big-time plays, we've seen them beat big-time teams, and you can see that this is a program on the rise.
Yes, very proud, and the main reason they are on the rise is because of Mark Stoops. It may have taken a little while, but here they are. They're playing on a New Year's Day bowl game. Here's more on that.
Every couple of years, there have been leaps with the Kentucky football program. That's what they were hoping for when Mitch Barnhart hired Mark Stoops back in 2012. Playing on New Year's Day was one of several team goals, a goal that is getting them closer to their ultimate objective.
To play in that championship game in Atlanta. That's still the goal. So that's goal number one. And then goal number two is obviously to play in the CFP and get to that next spot. But you have to take steps to get there. And what Mark has done systematically is he has taken steps to get there.
Now let's take a look at the year-to-year steps. You're going to notice a pattern, and it's a pretty good one as well. It was a tough first season, a 2-10 record in 2013. But then UK posted records of 5-7 in 2014 and 2015, on the fringe of a bowl bid, but just short. Now we look at 2016 and 2017, 7-6 in both of those years, including 2 bowl bids. Fortunately, they lost both of them. But here we are, it's a 3rd straight bowl appearance. The program hasn't done that since they went to 5 straight bowl games from 2006 to 2010.
You know, it's very special, you know, and I'm very thankful that I'm a part of it. But at the same time, we've been to 2 bowl games, came back empty-handed both times. You know, it's great that you made it, but if you've made it, you might as well win it. So that's our mindset going into this one.
You have to go back 10 years to see a W next to Kentucky after a bowl game. They've lost 4 straight overall, 2 straight under Stoops, but a big opportunity on New Year's Day against a historic program in Penn State.
It's definitely motivation. We have a lot of respect for Penn State and their history, but it's also about us and playing in this game and you know, guys that want to play and that want to win. And again, we gave it a great effort a year ago, came up to play short, and our players are motivated to go try to get to victory.
Yep, so guys that want to play. That was a big thing coming into this. You got a lot of NFL prospects on this football team who didn't necessarily have to play in this bowl game, but they're looking to make history. They're sticking together and they're getting it done. And one of those guys is the guy that's the rock frequently in the backfield.
Yeah, Benny Snell Jr., and we're hoping to see him become the all-time career rushing leader for the University of Kentucky. He can do that. If he can rush for 107 yards tomorrow, he'll pass Sonny Collins. And a big reason that he's been able to do this, he has the talent, but he's got that position coach that is a lot of history behind him as well that has helped Benny Snell get to where he is at Kentucky. Benny Snell Jr. has tied or broken nearly every UK rushing record, and that's because he came in with a love for the game and skills that were undeniable.
When Benny stepped on the field, he made us play him. From day one practice until he's finished now, he practices that way, and it was a no-brainer to get him in there and get him started as a true freshman because of his passion for this game. And it's just been awesome to coach him, and he's going to have a great career because how he loves the game. He respects the game.
Coach Grand knows about running back talent. He coached Carnell Williams and Ronnie Brown at Auburn. Both were top 5 picks in the NFL. Benny had the talent, and Coach Grand, who admits that he's an old-school coach, says he had to change the way he approached with his coaching of Snell.
I think there's some young men that you can hoot and holler at all the time and get after them. You know, I'm not a big guy on swearing or anything like that, so I'm not going to cuss my kids, and that's not who I am. But I think there's some times where I've learned that it's just better to pull Benny aside, and he and I, on one-on-ones, really, really good scenarios.
And for Benny, he appreciates the time and effort that Grand put into making his game better and putting him in a better position for his future. So they'll enjoy this one more game together.
I can say with me and Coach Grand, we came a real long way. So when I first stepped on Kentucky's campus, you know, I could just tell genuinely as a coach he cared about who I was on and off the field, and he made me better every single day. You know, I wasn't like, you're not around your dad a lot, you know, so he's like kind of like a second father. You know, me learning little things, little tips, as well as him disciplining me on the field. you know, to make me the player I am today. So.
Wow, just what a great 3 years it's been for Benny. One of the loudest, I guess,
most vocal, right?
Yeah, most vocal guy that you're ever going to meet. It'd be nice to see him get that 107 yards come tomorrow. And we mentioned he is leaving for the draft, but he decided to play here, and I think everyone kind of understands why he is deciding to forego his senior season.
And love it when Benny Snell talks about Benny Snell.
Oh, yeah, that's always the third
quite,
person's always the best.
Exactly, and so we'll see what happens with that tomorrow. So much football going on, obviously, for the obvious reason with the Citrus Bowl game, but obviously it brings a lot of fans as well. Again, we bring in Claire Crouch, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year,
Yeah,
guys.
Happy
I
New
know,
Year.
kind of forgot that it was New Year's Eve in the midst of all this bowl madness, but it's okay. We'll find time to celebrate, right?
Yes.
We'll be okay.
Okay. Well, talking so much about the Cats, of course they are here for the bowl game, but did you know they're not the only team from Kentucky that have made the trip down to the Citrus Bowl?
What?
That's right. Cheerleaders from Lincoln County are here to perform before the game tomorrow. LEX18's Catherine Collins checked in with them to see just how they feel before they perform before the big game. Hey, Catherine.
Hey, so this is a great story because Lincoln County's cheerleading coach tells me when they were chosen to perform at the Citrus Bowl, it was back in August. So they had no idea who was going to be playing in this game. When they did find out that it's going to be the Wildcats, the entire team freaked out. They were so excited. Now that trip they've been looking forward to for months is finally here. You may be used to seeing them on the sidelines. Their coach says they're the unsung heroes at Lincoln County High School.
And we are, because we do our jobs, and that's to be leaders in our school, spirit leaders in our community.
Because every other sports team gets really recognized at this school, and I think it's nice for once that we are actually getting recognized for the hard work that we do put in.
Now they're about to take the field at the Citrus Bowl.
My nerves are going to be really high, but I think it'd be fun.
I don't think I've ever had that many people watching me at one time.
These cheerleaders are nervous but excited. Their team was chosen to join other teams in a pregame performance in Orlando.
Well, they were excited. Where's the Citrus Bowl? Where are we going? And
Coach Amy Baston says what's even better,
when we learned about this in August, we had no idea that UK would be there playing.
to be at the same game as the Wildcats, she says that's just icing on the cake.
I know how marvelous and fabulous my team is, and amazing hard workers, and how well-rounded they are. And for others to get to see that, and for them just to get to be in that public eye, like I know them, that is like the most amazing thing for me.
Baston says she knows the team will be prepared for the performance because of the hard work they do at games and in practice.
We're a team that really, we're really dedicated.
Of course, Baston says the team couldn't have done it without people contributing to their fundraiser.
And so for our community to be able to step up and help us, it's a fabulous feeling.
Now this team is ready to get off the sidelines and onto the field. And I've been keeping tabs with Coach Amy this weekend and this week, and she tells me they're having a great time here in Orlando. They're ready to go for their performance. You'll see them tomorrow on the 35-yard line before the game. Back to you guys.
What a great story, Catherine. Thank you so much. Coming up, one Lexington business wasted no time cranking out the big blue gear once they learned Kentucky was headed to the Citrus Bowl. More on that when LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl returns. And welcome back to LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl. We're here live at the Point Orlando along International Drive here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Back up in Lexington, Kentucky branded didn't waste any time cranking out all that true blue gear once they learned the Cats were headed here to the Citrus Bowl. And LEX18's Jacqueline and I checked in with them to see what all that gear was about. Hey, Jacqueline.
Hey Claire, people in here in Orlando have all kinds of UK gear on, and if you haven't gotten your official Citrus Bowl gear, don't worry, one Kentucky store has you covered.
What's a bowl game without memorabilia to remember it?
We have customers constantly calling us and they're like, we want the bowl shirts, we want the bowl shirts, so we're giving them the bowl shirts.
Kentucky Branded says there has been so much excitement behind this game, the store is getting exclusive shirts for the Citrus Bowl.
It's been different because since we haven't had this much excitement for football in so long, Last season, I know people were like, yeah, I just kind of want some stuff, but this year it's like been different. Like they want shirts for every game. They come one day, they want another shirt the next day.
And the excitement surrounding the bowl attire doesn't stop here.
We'll have a lot come in, and we'll be prepared for like mass people to come in and buy them, especially if we win, because then we'll get new product out and we'll get it out possibly that day.
Speaking of UK gear, I have an exclusive look at the helmets that UK will be wearing during tomorrow's game. That is tomorrow morning during the LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl Special at 10 a.m. Claire, Keith, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. And when we come back, we are not done. Happy New Year's again.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little Drake Jackson, one of those big guys up front that's been helping Benny Snell Jr. all season long. That's next on LEX18 Live at the Citrus Bowl. Well, welcome back in. We are at Point Orlando, where we are getting you ready for this game with Kentucky and Penn State. LEX18 live at the Citrus Bowl, and time to talk a little bit more about the UK offense.
Yep, that UK offense. You already heard us talk about Benny Snell and what he's on the verge of doing on New Year's Day, and the guys that he runs behind, they're kind of the main reason. And you do have an All-American on that offensive line too, but we also have probably one of the better facial hair guys on the offensive line as well. So it'll be an interesting one. You got something for us.
You've also got a couple of guys that are locally homegrown. Landon Young, unfortunately, hurt this season, but you had Drake Jackson, one of those guys that they feel like they're blue collar. They want to play with that Kentucky across their chest, and they want to help this team out, and that's what they've done, especially Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson is one of those local guys who came to Kentucky with high honors, a four-star who played in the Army All-American game. And when he got the chance to get on the field, you couldn't get him off. When he lines up in the Citrus Bowl against Penn State, he'll be starting his 20th straight game for the Wildcats. He's the anchor for a line that produced Benny Snell Jr.'s 3 seasons of 1,000 yards each.
He does a great job of giving us credit, and we try to give him credit too. Yeah, we make a couple blocks here and there, but that guy runs through a lot of arm tackles, and he hits the right hole, and he's an incredible back. And yeah, it means a lot to us because we don't have any stats ourselves. So like if we have a 1,000-yard rusher, a guy who broke all these records, that looks good for us.
Aside from talent and technique, the thing that sets Jackson apart is the way he studies the game. He watches so much film that he wasn't surprised at all when his fellow lineman Bunchy Stallings was named an All-American.
Sometimes you see a guy that really is impressive, and you watch our film and you see Bunchy is blocking a defensive lineman 20 yards down the field and just straining to stay in between his guy and the ball carrier. And you don't see that anywhere else in the country.
Penn State defensive coordinator Brent Price says that Benny Snell Jr. gets better as the game goes on and that he really punishes defenses in the fourth quarter. And Jackson considers that high praise for the offensive line as well.
So Coach Schlarman really tries to get us to kind of start the game with a mentality. Everything starts up front. So you look at some of our big ones like Florida. If you watched the first drive in the Florida game, you saw the offensive line punishing them. We were really coming off the ball hard. And we just keep pounding them and pounding them. That's our mentality. That's the way we've been. That's the way we are. And I think we really do enjoy being like that.
Love that they have that mentality about playing so much harder in the fourth quarter. Stay right there. More LEX18 live at the Citrus Bowl. Straight ahead.
And welcome back to LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl. You know, we've been talking about all the memorable moments from this season, from Benny and Josh Allen to beating Florida, the crazy end to that Missouri game. So many wonderful, memorable moments. But sadly, this season was also met with tragedy in the form of the death of one of the team's youngest fans, little Marco Shimwell. Well, earlier this week, I caught up with the players and Marco's family. They're here with the team this week and spoke with them about how they're helping keep Marco's memory alive.
I'm alive. In the midst of one of the best seasons in their history, the UK football team is still taking the time to wear the name of one of their fans right on their backs.
I've almost been brought to tears a few times just seeing all of the team with Marco's name on their shirt.
4-year-old Marco Shimwell was tragically killed this season after being hit by a car on a game day. The team embraced Marco's family and took his loss personally.
It's been very heartwarming, very humbling, and we couldn't be more grateful for all the support and love they've shown us.
The gestures, love, and support aren't lost on Marco's family. The boost they've gotten from the team has helped them with their unimaginable loss, and now they are turning their pain into an opportunity to help others by creating the Marco Shimwell Foundation.
And it's basically all about just paying it forward and creating those Marco moments and creating ripples of positive change through the community.
So as they spend this magical time alongside Marco's favorite team, they do so with him in their hearts, enjoying the experience because he can't, but so wishing he was with them once again.
But I have no doubt that he's looking down on us now, and he is just so excited and thrilled, and he's probably pointing to everybody on the team and just saying, that's my name on their shirts, and that the blue team is wearing his name. So I'm sure he's smiling down on us now.
Such a wonderful moment there at that theme park with the team in the midst of all this bowl madness. A great time for that family. So happy to know they're here along with the team. They appreciate it so much, and the team gets just as much out of it as they do. Well, switching gears now, fans here in Orlando couldn't be more pumped for the Citrus Bowl. Lots of parties going on. They're all around, and we know you there back in Lexington are just as excited, if not more so. And if you think you're missing out, don't worry. We've got you covered. In fact, LEX18's Catherine Collins joins us live once again now to tell you how you can get in on the fun.
Hey, Claire. Yeah, I can personally attest that fans here in Orlando are having a great time. I've got some people here who are talking to me right now. They're having such a great time. They can't wait to get to that game. But if you are at home in Lexington, we don't want you to feel left out. There's so many ways to watch the game in a party atmosphere. So don't you worry. Here's some of those options that you have for tomorrow.
Couldn't make it to Orlando for the Citrus Bowl? No problem.
We're excited for it. There's a lot of buzz going on right now.
Bars and restaurants in Lexington refuse to let those who traveled have all the fun.
The crowd's crazy. They get to Go Big Blue and U and K and Go Cats.
Every TV will be on the game. The sound's going to be on for the game.
Atmosphere is always awesome for games. We got drink and food deals all day long on Tuesday. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Double Dogs, KS Bar and Grill, and Tin Roof are all gearing up for the big game.
Oh man, when was the last time we played on a New Year's Day? It's been a while.
And since it's such a big game, they're all expecting big crowds.
But we expect to fill up rather quickly, and we'll have our staff here ready to go.
We plan on being hopping, super busy.
If you're feeling a little under the weather after a night out celebrating the new year, they've got your back.
I'm imagining some people are going to be wanting to, hair the dog and maybe just get that ball rolling again, and we're going to be a good place to do it.
And because it is the Citrus Bowl, we're going to do $2 mimosas and $2 screwdrivers.
So if you can't be in Orlando, at least you'll be surrounded by Cats fans.
So no need to sit at home and feel like you're missing out on all the fun. Catherine, thank you so much. And that does it for the first half hour of our LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl special. Matt Jones and the Hey Kentucky crew are taking over next. We'll be right back.
You're watching LEX18 at the Citrus Bowl, brought to you by your Kentucky Select Chevy dealers.
Hey Kentucky is here at the Citrus Bowl. Matt Jones, Ryan Lemon, and Drew Franklin live in Orlando, just down the street from the stadium, where tomorrow Kentucky will take on Penn State. We got a lot of stuff to get to, so let's just start with it, and it is the Citrus Bowl. Kentucky playing in their first New Year's Day Bowl in 20 years. 20 years ago, they played this same Penn State team in the Outback Bowl, and tomorrow they get them in the Citrus Bowl. The team has been here for a week practicing. Today some fans actually got to watch the practice, but now things start to get serious. They begin preparation for Penn State in a game that these players say is huge for them and the program. Today Stoops and the players talked about the importance of the game.
It's going to be a real challenge. Playing Coach Franklin and Penn State, a storied program. We look forward to the opportunity. It's been a great week in Orlando, and anxious to get the game going here.
Now, Ryan, Drew, this is obviously a huge game for the program, but I sense from these players and these coaches a desperation not just to play, as they did in the Tax Slayer Bowl against Georgia Tech and against Northwestern in the Music City, but, Ryan, to win.
You know, 20 years ago when they played in the Outback Bowl, it was just kind of that thrill and excitement just to be there. I think you're right, man. It's kind of, they've had this business approach. They're not just here to play in this game. They're here to win this game because they understand the importance of what it means to this program.
And, Drew, there's a lot of dudes who this is the last time they will play. A senior class that's done amazing. Benny Snell's going to the draft. I feel like they really want to go out with a win.
Yeah, when these guys came to Kentucky, they came here to turn the program around. That was Stoops' message to them in recruiting. That's what they're going to do. And this is kind of their championship and their chance to put the final stamp on it and end what they came here to do by winning this game.
Now, Penn State's a perfect opponent for something like this because it's a name program. I mean, we all grew up watching Penn State. They were great. And in many ways, for Penn State, it might be a letdown to play a team like Kentucky. But, Ryan, when you are Kentucky, you get a chance to take down a power, a Big Ten power, a team you recruit against. It's huge.
You're right. You know, it's Penn State, and it's New Year's Day, and the whole college football world is going to be watching you. So it is a big deal for this program, and you're right. You win 10 games, man, that doesn't happen for UK football. And that's why, like Drew said, they can put their stamp on this program. That's why it's such a historic day for this program tomorrow.
And let's talk about the fans for a second. There are fans everywhere. I mean, you can't see it right now on camera, but there's a bunch of them watching over here. We did a radio show today that literally had hundreds of people. You'll see some of it in the next segment. The fans have descended, and I think Kentucky's got a good chance to have a better crowd than Penn State, who normally travels as well as anybody in the country.
Yeah, Penn State does have their fans here, but I think Big Blue outnumbers them. I didn't know how attendance would be tomorrow, but I think it's going to be in big. They might even fill that place. There's so many people here excited about the game.
It's going to be awesome. 1 o'clock kickoff. We can't wait. Now, one of the keys to the game is going to be quarterback play. Penn State is led by Trace McSorley, maybe one of the best quarterbacks to ever play at that school. I talked to some Penn State fans that say he might be the most beloved they've had in a long time. But Kentucky's Terry Wilson statistics actually match up pretty well against Trace McSorley. Their completion percentage is the same, and while Terry has fewer yards, his actual quarterback rating is about equal. So, guys, everybody assumes huge edge for Penn State at quarterback. Is it possible that Terry Wilson, coming off his best game of his career against Louisville, might actually be able to narrow the gap?
You know, everybody's been talking about Trace McSorley. You know what? Marty McSorley. He's not played against Josh Allen. And we forget about how good Terry Wilson was in that last game of the year against University of Louisville. Let him line up against Josh Allen and see how he does against tomorrow.
What does Marty McSorley, the hockey player, have to do with it?
Yeah, because we're going to make him look like Marty McSorley tomorrow.
Okay, well, that makes more sense.
He's going to be running around in circles.
Are you worried about Trace McSorley? He probably is the one weapon that people out there might know about Penn State.
Yeah, he's probably the only player most fans can name, but he is tough. I give them the advantage at quarterback. He's actually their record holder for yards for single season and career. A lot of fans call him number one over Kerry Collins as their best all-time quarterback, so he is very good.
But, I mean, he hasn't had the year people thought. Some people saw he could potentially be a first-round NFL draft pick. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. He's been good, but I don't think he's been great. Meanwhile, Terry Wilson, best game of his career was against Louisville. Yep. Can he back it up?
That's right. That's the thing. We forget about how good he was in that game. I like our defense chances against anybody. Put our defense out there against Marty McSorley. I like our chances.
You keep saying Marty. It is
Trace.
Trace Atkins. I don't care who he plays. Put our defense out there against him.
Terry Wilson has got to be able to throw the ball. Did you see enough against Louisville to feel like he can?
Definitely. Now, Louisville's a completely different defense. I wouldn't even call that a defense, so I don't see him doing that again. But I think that did a lot for his confidence going forward. It's had a month since that game to grow. I think we're going to see good things out of him.
Now, this is going to be the last time we get to see two of the best to ever lace it up at Kentucky. Benny Snell and Josh Allen will be playing in their last game tomorrow, and both surprised some people by deciding to play. Josh Allen is a projected top 5 pick, and most of the other top 10 picks are not playing. Josh Allen is. And Benny Snell with 106 yards can become the all-time leading rushing leader at Kentucky. These two dudes are going to one day, when we sit back and look at Kentucky, we're going to say those are two of the best to ever play here. Part of what I'm excited about tomorrow is, Ryan, the chance to potentially get to see them leave a winner.
You know, we talked about it. They're playing because they love those guys in that locker room. They love those coaches, and they love the fans. That's why they're suiting up and playing this game, because they know how important this game is for everybody, for the guys in the locker room and for the fan base. Josh Allen doesn't have to play in this game tomorrow. He's going to be a gazillionaire in a couple months. He's doing it because he loves what the University of Kentucky means for him.
He's going to have Trace McSorley money.
That's right. Exactly what he's going to have.
Josh Allen has no business really playing in this game. I mean, from a financial standpoint, it makes no sense. But the fact that he's playing showcases the bond these players have with the program.
Says a lot about his character, and as other people projected like him at the top of the draft are sitting out, I think this will help him. NFL personnel seeing this that he wants to play. Me personally, I wouldn't do it. He's got a one-year-old son, a lot of money to make in May, but good on him for doing it. It just says a lot about how much he cares about this team.
I also can't wait to see Benny Snell, 106 yards from going into the history books as the all-time leading rusher. And this is a kid who came here, didn't even play his first 4 games, and a lot of people forget, came and when we thought we wanted Damian Harris, who's at Alabama, Benny Snell was an afterthought, and he's going to graduate here, potentially the best to ever do it.
You know, this record's been up for over 40 years, Sonny Collins' rushing record. We've had a lot of great running backs, you know, Mo Williams, Mark Higgs, Mark Logan, George Adams, and here comes Benny Snell, and like you said, 2 3/4 seasons breaking the rushing record. That's how good this guy is.
We're going to give him a Snell because I think he's going to break it tomorrow. Now, even though football is on everybody's mind, we can't skip over something that happened Saturday. We destroyed Louisville on their home floor to beat them for the 10th time in 12 games under John Calipari. Kentucky won 71-58. They got a 10-point lead with about 10 minutes to go in the first half and really never lost it throughout. The closest Louisville could get was 6. It was a great game for Tyler Hero, who had 24 points. All 5 starters played well again. And after the game, Calipari talked about the big victory for the Cats.
This game is just another game for me. Before, it was made personal. And I tried not to make it, but it was made personal, which made it harder. For me, it's another game, and that's how I approach it with my players. I'm not crazy. It's not. Again, you give us a week to get ready for a game. Usually we're pretty good, whether it was North Carolina, Louisville, or whoever. You give us a week, we're going to be pretty good.
You know, I absolutely love, by the way, that he said the game used to be personal. It used to be personal when Rick Pitino was there, not personal now. But, Drew, if they keep winning like this, whether it's personal or not, this will continue to be a second holiday after Christmas, beat Louisville Day.
Yes, Coach Cal has owned Louisville, continued again this year, and I like the way Cal and the players sounded after the game. They have that swagger back we saw after the Bahamas, after Duke ripped their souls out to start the season. They're starting to turn it around. I think they're having fun again.
We kept saying, when Tyler Hero hit shots, well, he finally did against Louisville, and the team sure does look good when he does.
Man, you ran Utah off the floor. You beat North Carolina, a good North Carolina team, and now you beat Louisville at Louisville. This is a team everybody should be excited about.
I like the game changed for this team when Ashton Hagen started.
No doubt.
You know, John Calipari said something interesting on my post-game show. He said, you can't play good defense until you can guard the ball. Specifically, when they cross half court, you have to have good defense right there waiting for the ball. And Ashton Hagens has changed everything because of that.
He's a nightmare for ball handlers. Not like Ulis was when he won Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago. Hey, Hagens might do that again. What do you have? 11 steals and the 2 big wins. Keep that going. He's going to be tough.
You know, I thought about this not long ago when I was thinking about Kentucky point guards. The best Kentucky teams always have a ball hawk on defense at point guard. John Wall was like that. Marcus Teague became like that. Andrew Harrison, Tyler Ulis, De'Aaron Fox. It looks like Ashton Hagens could be better than all of them.
In the late 90s, Wayne Turner. I mean, they wouldn't have won a couple titles without Wayne Turner out there at point guard. And you're right. You think about how bad they were defensively in those early games, even against Trancey. Look how good defensively they are now, and it all starts with Hagens.
Some dude with a ponytail just yelled and scared me, but it was the kind of sound you heard from Louisville fans after Kentucky won because they were absolutely terrified of the beatdown that they took. And now the Cats with the win go into conference play, ranked number 13 and on the rise. Now, when we come back, there are Kentucky fans everywhere here in Orlando. We talked to a few of them today, and Ryan Lemon actually, well, you're going to have to see what he did. I can't really describe it. That's next here on The Special, live from Orlando. Welcome back to the Hey Kentucky Special here in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl. Now, earlier today, we wanted to talk to some of the UK fans that are everywhere, and who better than the loudest fan of them all, Ryan Lemon. Here's what he found in Orlando.
Well, since Matt and Drew kind of made me the self-proclaimed king of the UK football pep talk this year. I mean, our record was pretty good when we did one before a UK football game this year. We decided to let some of the fans that came here to watch KSR today and gave them a chance, let them do a pep talk before the Citrus Bowl game.
I'll tell you what, Ryan, the Big Blue Nation is out here in full force. Terry's about to tear it up. Benny's about to tear it up. Josh Allen is about to put the fear of God into Trace McSorley. Cats by 90, baby.
Woo! Woo! That's what I hear right there. Woo! Woo! We're coming down to the final minutes. Coach Stoops has just called a timeout. Everybody's coming in. He needs some words of inspiration, Kendall. Go for it!
Give me this microphone. You know why I got this fancy top on? Because I came dressed to impress, baby. We're on one of the biggest stage in college football history. And we come to make some history. 10 wins, baby. If I lose in this outfit, I'm going to be I'll pay some good money for this. You better go out there, kick some ass, take some names, and bring it home, baby.
I'm leaving my shirt on, not like Ryan Lemon. But let me tell you, we got some bad Wildcats out here, and we're going to beat Penn State tomorrow and have the greatest year in Kentucky football. God bless Kentucky.
Benny Snell, Josh Allen, everybody, they are going to whip their butts tonight. 40-0. I'm calling it.
Chest bump. Boom.
Do it, Justin. Blue and white. Do it, Justin. James Franklin, if you think what happened on Twitter was bad, wait till you see what happens on the field tomorrow when the Wildcats stomp a mud hole in that Nittany line, baby. Woo! 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 Woo!
All right, we saw this dude's hair, so we had to talk to him. All right, brother, give us your best pep talk. Go.
All right. When they come up, let's get fired up. Let's go. Let's go, guys.
You got to get more excited.
Let's go. Go Cats. That's it.
Come on, Marcia.
We're here. BBN is here. We're behind you. Bunchy, Benny, Bowden. We got your back. Bring it home. Bring it home.
All right. We let the fans have their chance. Now let's let a pro do it.
Gentlemen, take it easy. Everybody said all year we couldn't beat anybody. They said we couldn't beat Florida. What'd we do, son? We beat Florida! We beat Florida! They said we couldn't beat South Carolina. What'd we do? Beat them!
Off and with the helmet. That was your sportscaster on this station for a number of years. That was him, and he's still killing it as he did then. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're back here in Orlando with more. It's the UK trip to the Citrus Bowl right here on Hey Kentucky. Welcome back to Hey Kentucky here at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. A lot of stuff to get to, and let's get started with maybe my favorite moment of this whole trip, which was James Franklin and Mark Stoops' press conference today. At the end of it, Franklin and Stoops, who, by the way, don't get along very well, Franklin said, "Hey, Mark, will you please tell fans on Twitter to stop giving me a hard time and tell the BBN to stop tweeting me?" And what did Mark Stoops say? Absolutely not. I love it. And you can tell. Mark Stoops hates James Franklin, and you can tell why.
It was the last 45 seconds of the news conference, and if there's one fan base you don't want to irritate, it's the Big Blue Nation, James Franklin.
I like that rivalry, and it's going to be fun watching Stoops punch in an extra touchdown tomorrow to win the game.
Here's the thing. This goes back to when Franklin was at Vandy. He ran up the score in a game during Stoops' first year. Stoops said, "I'll get you back." We'll find out if he's able to do it tomorrow. Now, fans are getting crazy for this football team, but none of them more so than this guy who celebrated on Instagram, well, kind of interesting.
Benny Snell, my favorite player. Snell, yeah! Let's go!
Let's go.
Now, that's a little nuts, but Benny Snell liked it so much he put it on his Instagram story. So I guess men taking their shirt off and getting excited, you know something about that.
I highly respect a man who loves his body enough to take his shirt off in public. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I didn't really need to see that, but I like the guy's passion and energy. Maybe put a uniform on him, let him play tomorrow.
Hey, Benny Snell loves these fan videos. There's another one. Now, we got the uniforms for tomorrow. Penn State has an iconic uniform that they pretty much wear for all the games. But at Kentucky, we switch it up, and they're going with the chrome domes. Of course, some of the biggest games UK's had, they've worn the chrome. They rarely, however, win in the chrome.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. They look really good, but they don't seem to win the games when they wear them.
Man, I love the chrome helmets, but you're right. We don't seem to win in those games, but I love the look. I'm kind of glad we're going with them, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the chrome won like best uniform last year. I love them. Never mind the record. They'll win tomorrow.
I think they're winning tomorrow either way, but the chrome makes me a little nervous because we never seem to win when they do it. Now, the team has been down here for a long time, and they've done a lot of stuff, including go to amusement parks. The team's gone to Universal Studios, some made a trip to Disney, and they got a Best Buy gift certificate, $400, which they could spend anywhere. And David Bouvier bought a washing machine, which I don't understand, but it still looks fun, actually, for these dudes.
You know, that's part of the bowl experience. You know, that's part of the challenge for the coaches to keep these guys focused. Like, you know, hey, what? We still have a football game to play tomorrow.
Bouvier getting a washing machine is my favorite story of this whole trip. Just shows he's focused, he knows what he's doing. About to graduate, he's going to need a washing machine.
But you know, you hand me $400 at Best Buy, I don't know what I'm going to get either. I've already bought Red Dead Redemption 2. What am I supposed to do? Maybe I would get a washing machine as well. Now, there's a lot of Kentucky fans here, and on Saturday, they had to watch the Kentucky-Louisville game. So a Kentucky alumni group set a party at Buffalo Wild Wings, and 360 Kentucky fans showed up to cheer on the Cats beating the Cards. This morning at our radio show, we had about that many, if not more, getting ready. Fans are excited, and they are everywhere, and they got to celebrate beating Louisville.
You know, and still, we tried to warn these people, they're coming. They ran out of alcohol, they didn't have enough servers, and yet we still filled the place, and they were up and down the sidewalk for our show this morning.
How do you run out of alcohol at Tin Roof?
Before noon on New Year's Eve, but yeah, Kentucky fans are already getting crazy down here.
That's exactly right. If you run out of alcohol on New Year's Eve,
it's your own fault.
Then you know Kentucky fans have come here ready to party. Now, one piece of news that we don't like necessarily, Randall Cobb announced today he probably will not be able to come back to the Green Bay Packers. The former Cat says he does not think the Packers will give an offer to him that will be sufficient for him to stay, and that he will probably end up somewhere else. I'm actually kind of glad about this. I'm a Bears fan, so I've hated that my favorite UK player played for our rival. I hope he goes somewhere else.
I hope he's getting in a position where he's going to get a lot of balls. I mean, he's had a good career so far, but yeah, put him in an offense where he's going to get a lot of catches, a lot of touches.
Yeah, this season he could have done more with the Packers. I think he's going to go somewhere where they'll really appreciate him, really use him. Hopefully my Titans.
Yeah, and the Packers, even though they have Aaron Rodgers a couple years, they're not where they were. If he's the kind of dude who needs to be on a contender because he's kind of a second or third receiver. I think Randall is going to have a great career. When we come back, more here in Orlando. Kentucky fans let me hear the Kentucky fans back here in the background. And there's more where that came from. That's next here on Hey Kentucky. Welcome back to Hey Kentucky here in Orlando, where we found some Kentucky fans roaming around here on New Year's Eve. Guys, we might as well do it. The game's tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Let's do predictions. Ryan Lemon, what do you think's going to happen?
I like Kentucky 21-20. I really think it'll be close, but I like our defense's chances, man. 21-20 Kentucky. Benny Snell breaks the record. C.J. Conrad, those the MVP.
I think Kentucky wants it more. I think it's a defense Penn State hadn't seen all year.
Yep.
Kentucky wins. I'm going to go 28-20. And, of course, Benny's breaking that record, too.
I think he's breaking the record. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Kentucky hadn't won a New Year's Day Bowl since 1977. Well, guess what? It's happening tomorrow. Kentucky wins 27-17. Josh Allen gets 2 more sacks, and this city erupts with the Big Blue Nation celebrating. So to get ready, we might as well start now. How about this? Let me cue you up. Oh! Thank you very much for watching. We'll be here again tomorrow night to celebrate the victory. This is Hey Kentucky live in Orlando.